काव्यशास्त्रविनोदेन कालो गच्छति धीमताम् व्यसनेन च मूर्खाणां निद्रया कलहेन वा.
Today we sit with one of the most quietly piercing verses in all of Sanskrit literature. It comes from the Hitopadesha and it sounds like this. Kavya shastra vinodena kalo gacchati dhimatam vyasanena cha moorkhanam nidraya kalahena va. The meaning at first glance is simple. The time of the wise passes in the delight of poetry and learning. The time of fools passes in vice, in sleep or in quarrel. But let us slow down and take it word by word, because the Sanskrit hides treasures that no quick translation can carry. The first word is a compound, Kavya Shastra Vinodena. Kavya means poetry, literature, the beautiful arts of language. Shastra means the learned treatises, the sciences, the disciplined bodies of knowledge. And Vinodena means through the delight of. Now here is the first treasure. The word vinoda comes from the root nud, which means to push, to drive away. So vinoda is literally that which drives away. It drives away dullness, heaviness, boredom, darkness of mind. In this tradition, true recreation is not lying down, it is a sweeping out. The leisure of the wise is a broom, not a couch. Then comes kalo gacchati, time goes, time passes, and dhimatam, of the wise. The word dhimat comes from dhi, that ancient Vedic word for the illumined intellect, the same dhi we invoke in the Gayatri mantra. A dhimat is not merely a clever person, it is someone whose inner intelligence is awake. The second line gives us the fool's portrait. Vyasanena, through vice, through addiction. This word comes from the root as, meaning to throw. So vyasana is literally that which throws you apart, that which casts you down and scatters you. The etymology itself is a diagnosis. Addiction is centrifugal, it pulls the self to pieces. Then nidraya, through sleep, through excess torpor. Then kalahenava, or through quarrel, through strife and noise. And moorkhanam, of fools. And even this word teaches. Moorkha comes from the root mu, to be deluded, the same root as moha. A fool in Sanskrit is not someone who lacks information, it is someone who is asleep inside. Now, where does this verse come from? It appears in the prologue of the Hitopadesha, a book of teaching stories composed by the scholar Narayana Pandit, drawing on the older Panchatantra. The setting is this. King Sudarshana of the city of Pataliputra is in despair because his sons are growing up ignorant and undisciplined. He gathers his court and asks, who can save them? And the sage Vishnu Sharman promises to make the princes wise in a matter of months, not through punishment, not through drills, but through stories. Delightful animal fables with statecraft and ethics hidden inside them. And here is the beautiful secret. The Hitopadesha itself is exactly what this verse describes. It is Shastra dressed as Kavya, wisdom made so entertaining that even reluctant princes cannot resist it. The author is telling us, the book in your hands is the very pastime of the wise. Now let us go deeper. because this verse is really about something profound. Leisure is the true examination of character. Anyone can appear disciplined when duty demands it. The verse deliberately looks at your free hours, what you do when nothing is required of you. Your defaults, not your duties, reveal who you are becoming. Notice also that the fool's 3 drains are not a random list. Vice is energy misdirected into craving. Sleep is energy absent, consciousness dimmed. Quarrel is energy weaponized into friction with others. In the language of the tradition, these are the faces of Rajas and Tamas, restlessness and darkness. Against all 3 stands one luminous instrument, delight in beauty and knowledge, the face of sattva, of clarity. And notice the grammar because it carries the deepest teaching of all. In both lines, the subject is time itself. Kalo gacchati, time goes. The wise do not stop time, the fool does not lose extra time. Time passes for both, down to the last second, completely indifferent. The only thing that differs is the instrument through which it passes. You do not choose whether time goes, you choose only its vehicle. 2 boats on the same river, carried by the same current, arriving at very different seas. This wisdom echoes across the world. The Roman philosopher Seneca wrote that life is not short. We simply waste most of it in indulgence, in sleep, in disputes. Almost the same 3 drains. Aristotle taught that the noble use of leisure is the very purpose of civilization. And modern psychology confirms it. Research on the state called flow shows that human beings report their deepest fulfillment not in passive consumption but in absorbing, skillful engagement, reading, learning, creating. Meanwhile, the sciences of addiction describe vyasana perfectly, compulsive loops that fragment attention and scatter the self. The endless scroll is vice with an app icon. The comment section argument is kalaha with a notification sound. The autoplay binge is nidra with a glowing screen. So how do we live this verse? Let me leave you with 2 questions and 1 practice. First question. If someone could see only your unstructured hours from this past week, not your work, only what you chose freely, would they count you among the wise, or would they find vice, sleep and quarrel wearing modern costumes? Second question. The wise do not force themselves toward wisdom. They have cultivated a genuine appetite for it. Where have you trained your taste to crave what diminishes you? And what was the last piece of knowledge that gave you real joy? And the practice. Tonight, take the first half hour of your usual leisure, the moment the phone normally reaches for your hand, and give it to one absorbing, beautiful thing. A great book, a verse like this one, something you genuinely enjoy, because the verse commands vinoda, delight, not grim duty. And do not fight the scroll with willpower, displace it. Have the book already open. Put the phone in another room. Remember, vinoda means driving away. Let the higher pleasure evict the lower one. Then, each night, write one honest word in a journal. Today, my time passed mostly through what? Study, creation, scrolling, quarrel. 30 days of that ledger will show you exactly which boat you are in. Because time is going. Kalo gacchati. It is going right now as you listen. The only question the verse asks, the only question it has ever asked for 1,000 years is this: through what instrument will you let it pass?
काव्यशास्त्रविनोदेन कालो गच्छति धीमताम् व्यसनेन च मूर्खाणां निद्रया कलहेन वा